Jambo to everybody. I hope you are okay. Once again, I usually like to confirm that you are doing well. I am doing well too, and we are meeting again today to continue with our course. Take note that we are in the last stages of our course, and this last part is very important. It contains very valuable conclusions, the information that you may need to know in order to implement proper security at your organization in terms of cyber. So today we are focusing on lesson number 11. I have divided this lesson into two. There is a lesson number 11A, and then there will be lesson number 11B. Lesson number 11A, which is this one, we are going to look at cyber security techniques, and then lesson 11B, we are going to look at investigating cyber crimes, and then I have done an additional lesson, which shall be lesson number 12, where we are also going to talk about measures you can take at your organization to ensure that you prevent cyber crimes. I also would like to mention that it is time for you to continue preparing for your end of semester exams, which shall be coming soon. The chief principal will advise you regarding that. So start preparation in advance. Start going back from where we started, and try to look at those very important lessons. So today we are going to look at cyber security techniques, and we are going to start by saying that cyber security is the body of technologies, processes, and practices designed to protect networks, computers, programs, and data from attack, damage, or unauthorized access. If it is possible, you can write that one down. It is also a very nice definition of what cybersecurity is: the body of technologies, processes, and practices designed to protect networks, computers, programs, and data from attack, damage, or unauthorized access. The term cybersecurity refers to techniques and practices designed to protect digital data. The data that is stored, transmitted, or used on an information system. The data that is stored, transmitted, or used on an information system. So that is a little bit of, we were going a little bit back on definitions, and I hope we are together in that regard. Cyber security is the protection of internet connected systems, including hardware, software, and data from cyber attacks. It is made up of two words. One is cyber and the other is security. Cyber is related to the technology which contains systems, network, and programs or data, whereas security is related to the protection, which includes system security, network security, and application and information security. So, in cyber security, remember, when we talk about the term of security, it relates to the protection, which includes system security, network security, application security, and information security. Cybersecurity techniques. Cybersecurity techniques defend and protect a given cyber environment of an organization or a user from cyber attacks. There are many cybersecurity techniques to combat the cyber security attacks. This presentation discusses some of the popular techniques. Technique number one is authentication. Please write that one down. Authentication is the process of identifying an individual and ensuring that the individual is the same who she claims to be. A typical method for authentication over internet is via username and passwords. passwords. With the increase in the reported cases of cybercrime by identity theft over internet, organizations have made some additional arrangements for authentication, like one-time password. I know you are familiar with one-time password, especially in the banking industry. One-time password. Or what is this one-time password? It is a password which can be used one time only and is sent to the user as an SMS or an email at the mobile number or email address that he has specified during registration process. It is known as two-factor authentication method and requires two types of evidence to confirm an individual is who or she claims to be. It is an extra layer of security. Even in the physical security world, we carry out security in the form of layers, what we call in-depth layered security. Layers. So this is an additional measure or an additional layer of security. One-time password, that for you to access your system, then you are sent that password through your phone, then you input that password, then you can access your system. Which means if the cyber criminal doesn't have your phone or your email, then they cannot get access to the one-time password. Other techniques for two-way authentication are biometric data or physical token used in conjunction with the username and password. Systems need to authenticate the user based on credentials of that user, thereby provide access to information requested by the user. The process of giving access to an individual to certain resources based on the credentials of an individual is known as authorization. And often this process goes hand in hand with authentication. So there is the word authentication and there is the word authorization. Authorization is the process of giving access to an individual to certain resources based on the credentials of that particular individual. Any password can be a cause of, an easy password can be a cause of security flaw and can bring the whole organization at high risk. Therefore, the password policy of an organization should be such that employees are forced to use strong passwords, more than 12 characters, and combination of lowercase and uppercase alphabets, along with numbers and special characters, and prompt user to change their password frequently. So this is something that you should do as a cybersecurity professional. You remind all your colleagues, even you yourself, you make sure that you are using a 12-character and combination of lowercase and uppercase alphabets along with numbers and special characters. And you should also change your password frequently. Change your password frequently. And then organizations which deal with sensitive information like defense agencies, financial institutions, planning commissions, etc., a hybrid authentication system is used, which combines both the username and password, along with hardware security measures like biometric systems, etc. Some of the larger organizations also use VPN, what we call virtual private network, which is one of the methods to provide secure access via hybrid security authentication to the company network over the internet. Some organizations use VPN, which is called virtual private network. Let's see what is this virtual private network. Virtual private network hides your real IP address and encrypts your internet connection. It is a system that hides your real internet protocol address and encrypts your internet connection. Examples of what it looks like in real life. Your browsing history is private. A VPN hides your browsing history and search history from your internet service provider. The only thing the IPS can see ICSP can see is your encrypted traffic traveling to the VPN server. Again, you can change your online location. Your IP address gives away your physical location. With a VPN, you can connect to a server in a different country. And then with a VPN, with a VPN, you can actually use your internet or activate your internet in an anonymous way. A no-logs VPN ensures no one knows what you are doing on the web. Please, I encourage you to read more on this VPN technology. And then number two technique or strategy in cybersecurity is encryption. Encryption, so number one is authentication. Number two is encryption. Encryption is a technique to convert data to unreadable form before transmitting it over the internet. Only the person who has access to the key can convert it back into readable form and read it. Formally, encryption can be defined as a technique to lock data by converting it to complex codes using mathematical algorithms. Encryption. The code is so complex that even with the most advanced powerful skills, it will take several years to break it. This secure code can safely be transmitted over the internet to the destination. The receiver, after receiving the data, can decode it using a key. This is how it looks. You can see the diagram. I'll give you a minute to have a look at the diagram and also to read the information below. The decoding of the complex code to original text using key is known as decryption. If the same key is used to lock and unlock the data, it is known as asymmetric key encryption. In symmetric key encryption, after coding of data, the key is sent to the destination via some other medium like postal services, telephone, etc. Because if the key is obtained by a hacker, then security of the data is compromised. Key distribution is a complex task because the security of a key while in transmission is itself an issue. To avoid the transfer of a key, a method called asymmetric key encryption, also known as public key encryption, is used. In asymmetric key encryption, the key used to encrypt and decrypt data are different. Every user possesses two keys, viz. Public key and private key. As this name suggests, the public key of every user is known to everyone, but the private key is known to the user only who owns the key. Read more again about encryption, read about authentication, read about encryption, and the third cybersecurity technique or strategy is digital signatures. It is a technique for validation of data. A technique for validation of data. Validation is a process of certifying the content of a document. Digital signatures not only validate data, but are also used for authentication. The digital signature is created by encrypting the data with the private key of a sender. The encrypted data is attached along with original message and sent over the internet to the destination. The receiver can decrypt the signature with the public key of the sender. Now, the decrypted message is compared with the original message. If both are the same, it signifies that the data is not tampered with. And also the authenticity of the sender is verified as someone with a private key, which is known to the owner only. can encrypt the data, which is then decrypted by his public key. It's a little bit complex here, but I want you to just open your eyes, and then you can onboard your mind, and then you can read more and get to understand more from these slides. If the data is tampered while in transmission, it is easily detected by the receiver, as the data will not be verified. Again, the message cannot be re-encrypted after tampering, as the private key, which is possessed only by the original sender, is required for this purpose. Another technique is antivirus. You all have heard of antiviruses. There are varieties of malicious programs like viruses, worms, Trojan horse, etc. that are spread over internet to compromise the security of a computer, either to destroy data stored in the computer or gain financial benefits by sniffing passwords, etc. To prevent these malicious codes accessing systems, a special program called an antivirus is used, which is designed to protect the system against viruses. So antivirus, it not only prevents the malicious code to enter the system, but also detects and destroys the malicious code that is already installed into the system. There are lots of new viruses emerging every day. The antivirus program regularly updates its database and provides immunity to the system against these new viruses. You know, there are types of antiviruses, which is McAfee, Avast, Norton. All these are some of the types of antiviruses which are purchased from vendors. Viruses and malware can be picked up simply by checking email, browsing the web, or connecting a USB memory stick into a laptop. How antiviruses work? Most antiviruses software work on a signature database, monitoring the internet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every time a new virus is reported, it is indexed, cataloged, and added to the software's database. Once the antivirus software is up to date, it is equipped to tackle the new virus should it ever reach the device. And then we also talk about a firewall. What are firewalls in computing systems? In computing systems, a firewall is a network security system that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. A firewall typically establishes a barrier between a trusted network and an untrusted network, such as the internet. Firewalls are categorized as a network-based or a host-based system. Network-based or a host-based system. A firewall, it acts as a shield between incoming and outgoing network traffic. Then, network-based firewalls are positioned between two or more networks, typically between the local area network LAN and the wide area network WAN. They are either a software appliance running on general purpose hardware, a hardware appliance running on a special purpose hardware, or a virtual appliance running on a virtual host controlled by a hypervisor. A firewall acts as a barrier or filter between the computer and another network, such as the internet. So it acts as a barrier. A firewall acts as a gatekeeper. It monitors attempts to gain access to your operating system and blocks unwanted traffic or unrecognized sources. It can also help block malicious software from infecting your computer. Firewall appliances may also offer non-firewall functionality such as DHCP or VPN services. Host-based firewalls are deployed directly on the host itself to control network traffic or other computing resources. So host-based firewalls are deployed directly on the host itself to control network traffic or other computing resources. This can be a daemon or a service as part of the operating system or an agent application for protection. So you can see a firewall, the local area network, the wide area network, and then the firewall acts as a gatekeeper in between the computers and the internet to protect or to monitor incoming traffic. Also, a firewall is a security device, computer hardware or software that can help protect your network by filtering traffic and blocking outsiders from gaining unauthorized access to the private data on your computer. Operating systems and security software usually come with pre-installed firewalls. Make sure those features are turned on and security settings to be sure they are configured to run updates automatically. Apart from that, we also see that there are two types of firewalls. One is a hardware firewall. Example of hardware firewalls are routers through which the network is connected to the network outside the organization, i.e. to the internet. And then there are also software firewalls. These firewalls are installed and on the server and client machines, and it acts as a gateway to the organization's network. And then there are also cloud-based firewalls known as firewall as service. One benefit of cloud-based firewalls is that they can grow with your organization, and similar to hardware firewalls, do well with perimeter security. There are several different types of firewalls based on their structure and functionality. The only thing a user needs to do is to optimally configure the firewall according to their own requirement. The firewalls can be configured to follow rules and policies based on these defined rules. The firewall can follow the following filtering mechanisms. Number one is proxy. All the outbound traffic is routed through proxies for monitoring and controlling the packet that are routed out of the organization. So number one is proxy, and number two is packet filtering. Based on the rules defined in the policies, each packet is filtered by their type, port information, and source and destination information. The example of such characteristics is IP address, domain names, port numbers, protocols, etc. Basic packet filtering can be performed by routers. And then we also have stateful inspection. Rather than going through all the field of a packet, key features are defined. The outgoing / incoming packets are judged based on those defined characteristics only. The firewalls are an essential component of the organization's network. They not only protect the organization against the viruses and other malicious code, but also prevent hackers to use your network infrastructure to launch denial of services attacks. Another technique or strategy in cybersecurity is steganography. Steganography. It is a technique of hiding secret messages in a document file, image file, and a program or protocol, etc., such that the embedded message is invisible and can be retrieved using special software. Only the sender and the receiver know about the existence of the secret message in the image. The advantage of this technique is that these files are not easily suspected. There are many applications of steganography, which include sending secret messages without ringing the alarms, preventing secret files from unauthorized and accidental access and theft, and then digital watermarks for IPR issues, etc. There are various free softwares available for this process. Some of the popular ones are Quickstego, Zieo, Ticos, and OpenStego, etc. These are some of the techniques that are used in this process. Those are some of the techniques used in that process. And then finally, we are going to talk about penetration testing. And penetration testing is a comprehensive methodology which is used to identify the vulnerabilities in a system. We said there are types of hackers. We spoke of black hat hackers and white hat hackers. And we said hackers are ethical hackers, and they penetrate the system with the purpose of finding out vulnerabilities or weaknesses that can be exploited by cyber criminals. So ethical hackers or white hat hackers use penetration testing as a methodology to identify the vulnerability in a system. The process offers benefits like deterrence of financial loss, industry and regulation compliance, customers and stakeholders protection, defending the corporate image, elimination of identified risk factors by pen tester, etc. The process also identifies emerging technologies and recommends to top management staff training requirements. If you are asked to write something brief notes about penetration testing, then I hope you will talk about identification of vulnerabilities in the system with the purpose of deterrence, the purpose of protecting the organization from financial loss, the purpose of complying with the rules and regulations in the industry, and the protection of customers and stakeholders, and defending the corporate image and the elimination of identified risk factors by pen tester. Keep that one in mind. That one is very important. The tester can use black box, white box, or gray box depending on industry requirements and access available to him. A tester can choose either to test the system sitting inside the network or by accessing the system externally. It all depends on the said goals set by the organization. Broadly, used tests are network, application, and social engineering. Sniffers collect all the desired information after trailing the network and looking for feeds of the system engineer on social network sites. Mostly used steps are as under information gathering, vulnerability assessment, and analysis and exploitation. Various tools can be used on different service web, database, and forensics. Instead of relying on system engineer expertise in order to handle difficult situations, encourage staff to improve their skill set and knowledge. The tester submits a comprehensive report on his findings, which covers remedies on each finding and countermeasures for the identified vulnerabilities. The report also highlights to top management a complete picture of the weaknesses in the system, penetration testing. And then also, as part of the conclusion, we say penetration testing assessments provide valuable, actionable insights into discovered vulnerabilities, potential attack paths, business impact of breaches, and remedy steps. Penetration testing engagements identify threats to your organization, key assets that may be at risk, and the threat agents that may attempt to compromise them. Then we say everyone plays a role in preventing cybercrime. Everyone plays a role in preventing cybercrime. Everyone plays a role in preventing cybercrime. Please read those steps and note them down. I will also give you 1 minute. Just read the steps by yourself and then note them down. They include software updates. They include changing passwords frequently and using a 12-digit password, a mixture of lowercase, uppercase, numbers, and special characters, this kind of thing. So can you take a minute to write those down? With those few remarks, we have completed this session. It took us 30 minutes. I am trying to save time for the remaining two presentations, which one of them is very lengthy. but I hope we shall be able to cover them this Saturday. So please take note that there will be no breaks because we need to cover 3 presentations, and one has taken us 30 minutes, the other one should take us 30 minutes, and the other one should take us 45 minutes. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next presentation.